Well, from season 4 just dropped one of its most chilling reveals yet. And if you thought you understood what Sophia was doing in the township, think again. Because everything she has done so far has been calculated, deliberate, and part of a plan that is far more sinister than anyone in that town realizes. Let's break it all down. So let's start with the foundation of everything. The season 4 premiere confirmed what many fans had been suspecting. Sophia is actually the man in yellow in disguise. That single reveal completely reframes every interaction she has had since arriving in the township. Every conversation, every moment of apparent vulnerability, every seemingly innocent decision. All of it needs to be looked at through a completely different lens now. And episode 3, titled Merrily We Go, gave us the biggest clue yet about what Sophia, or rather, the man in yellow, is actually planning. Here's what happened. Kenny approached Sophia about where she wanted to permanently live in the township. You see, this decision carries real weight. When the Matthews family had to make the same choice between living in town or at Colony House, it was treated almost like a ceremony, formal, final, and significant. The township takes these decisions seriously. When Kenny posed the question to Sophia, he made one thing immediately clear: staying at the clinic was not an option. She had to choose, and her answer: she wanted to live with Sara. Now Kenny's reaction said everything. He was openly bewildered. He pushed back. He told her it was not a good idea, that Sophia had no idea what kind of person Sara really was, referencing Sara's violent attack on Ethan. But Sophia didn't budge. She was completely firm in her decision, claiming she saw genuine kindness in Sara and didn't believe she was a bad person. And that right there, that seemingly warm, compassionate response, is where things get really interesting. Because we already know from earlier in the season what the man in yellow actually wants. In conversations with both a dying Jim and a dying priest, the man in yellow revealed that what's coming for the township is his absolute favorite part. The part where they all, in his words, tear themselves apart. That is the goal, not just to cause suffering from the outside, but to get inside the community and make them destroy each other from within. That is the entire game plan, and Sophia choosing Sara is the first move on the board. So why Sara specifically? Well, there are actually several layers to this, and they all make terrifying sense when you think them through. The first and most obvious reason is that Sara is already on the fringes of the township's trust. The community has not forgiven her for attacking Ethan. Kenny's own reaction confirmed this. People are still deeply suspicious of Sara, and she knows it. She lives with that reality every single day. So if Sophia is looking to start her infiltration on the edges of the community rather than jumping straight into the center of things, Sara is the perfect entry point. Low risk, low visibility. A woman already isolated from the group. But here's where it gets genuinely sinister. There is actually a more sophisticated play at work here, and it is far more sadistic than simply using Sara's bad reputation against her. Think about it this way. What if Sophia's real plan is to first make the township forgive Sara, to use her apparent kindness and sincerity to rehabilitate Sara's image in the community's eyes, and then, once that trust has been rebuilt, manipulate Sara into betraying them all over again? You see, if the township simply turns on Sara because Sophia confirms the suspicions they already have, that's painful, but it's survivable. They expected it. They were already guarded. But if Sophia manages to get them to genuinely forgive Sara, to lower their defenses, to believe in her, to open up again, and then Sara betrays them once more, that would be completely devastating. That would not just hurt Sara, it would destroy the entire township's capacity for forgiveness. It would make every single person question everything and everyone around them. And that kind of psychological damage is exactly what the man in yellow is after. Actually, this bait-and-switch theory lines up perfectly with what we already know about the man in yellow's style of manipulation. This is not a character who goes for simple, blunt attacks. He plays long games. He gets in people's heads. Way back in the season 1 finale, he deliberately sent a storm to destroy the township's radio tower and crops, and then confirmed the intention behind it with a direct, chilling message to Jim. He didn't just cause damage. He made sure they knew he caused it. The psychological element has always been as important to him as the physical destruction. And now, disguised as Sophia and living inside the township itself, that's an enormous escalation in his approach. In the past, he operated from the outside. Now he has a front row seat, a bedroom, a roommate, and access to everything. His radio message already confirmed that wherever he was, he could hear what was happening inside people's homes. Now he doesn't even need the radio. There's also another deeply unsettling dimension to Sophia choosing Sara, and it connects to the town's broader supernatural forces. Sara has previously heard voices that drove her to violent actions. Elgin has had his own personal encounters with the town's dark entities, and the man in yellow was revealed to be the voice behind Jim's radio, which strongly suggests he was also responsible for the voices Sara heard in the past. So you see, the man in yellow may have already had a connection to Sara long before Sophia ever arrived in the township. He has potentially been inside her head before. That pre-existing connection, that history of influence, could make Sara both easier to manipulate and at the same time more valuable as a target. If Sophia can access that same channel of influence again, the impact could be devastating. Now, and this is worth noting, Sara herself has shown real growth. Her conversations with Elgin demonstrated genuine self-awareness and a new sense of caution toward the town's false promises. She cut out Elgin's eye to spare Boyd from having to do it, a dark act, but one driven by a warped kind of care. She has been through things that most people in the township haven't directly experienced, and that experience has made her more perceptive. So she might not be as easy to manipulate as Sophia expects. But here's the thing, if Sophia can break through despite all of that, the damage would be exponentially worse, because Sara's confidence in her own judgment would shatter completely. And a Sara who no longer trusts herself is far more dangerous to the township than a Sara who simply made a mistake. Honestly, this is the kind of storytelling that makes from one of the most underrated shows on television right now. The slow burn, the layers of manipulation, the way every small decision carries enormous consequences, it's all built so carefully. The Sophia reveal is the biggest swing the show has taken yet, and the choice to target Sara first is genuinely brilliant writing. I cannot wait to see how this unfolds over the rest of Season 4. Do you think Sara will figure out what Sophia really is before it's too late, or is she already being manipulated without even knowing it? Drop your theory in the comments and tell me how you think the man in yellow's plan is going to play out this season.